Welcome in, welcome once again to the newest edition of 3 in, 3 out, the most unique Seahawks recap show and film review show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner. I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandon Schultz. Brandon, we put a whooping on the Saints. You were there live, buddy. We're going to look at some awesome plays from that game. The good, there's not that much bad. We're going to look at the good, the great, a little bit of the bad. But first and foremost, you are back in Montana. What was that stadium like week 3 for our first home dub of the season, Brandon?
I'm back. Our Seahawks are back. Our home crowd is back after being in it and cheering on a victory. And what a victory it was over the Saints, Clinton. The crowd was fired up. It was one of the more fun games to be at, although I maybe we'll have some criticism for the crowd throughout the points, and maybe it's just a reflection on myself. Maybe I'll get to some of that too.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. We have a lot to cover. As you might imagine, there is a lot sitting in from the flock. Stick around for that, where we go into our Discord and we hear your ins and outs. We've got a YouTube poll to cover. We, of course, have 6 fresh ins and outs. We've got the brand in. And what do we have here on screen as well?
We've got live executive producer Ryan 911 coming in with a $9.99 super chat. Go Hawks! Amazing game yesterday. Go Hawks, Ryan. Go Hawks, Barbara, who's also coming in. Appreciate everybody joining us live.
Yeah, we sure do. We sure do. All right. So gonna just simply call this one to start off a little star power, because I think that's what we got rocking. So we got some star power. And of course we do, as Rising Hawker Jason Turner said, hit that like button. Also make sure you're subscribing out at youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. We put out a lot of content during the week, and we think it's all really quite good and fun. So hit it. It does help more than you know to beat back that stupid algorithm. I guess we shouldn't say that too loudly.
No, it's a very nice algorithm.
Very beautiful.
We love
nice.
the algorithm. It's a great and glorious algorithm that always gives us just the best presentation
ever
and spotlight that it could ever give us.
Ever after how many years? And we try to goose the algorithm a bit by putting out these awesome polls on YouTube. And we put this one out this morning. Almost, it was like 325 folks voted later or whatever. It's still out there, so you can still vote. The question was, through 3 games, because that's where we're at, rate Sam Darnold versus your expectations of him going into the season. So we had A, very surprised to the upside, B, solid, what I expected, and C, kind of meh, basically below expectations or barely meeting expectations. So Brandon, we put that out there. Anything shocking here that 70% of the people said what I expected? Is Sam delivering to you what you expected from Sam?
Oh gosh. Through 3 games, I don't know.
Okay. Say more.
Where's option D? Because I don't know. Has he met my expectations of him? Being 2-1, gosh, it's tough because my expectation, especially when it came down to, I wonder if it's expectations or if we're just grading it based on what we've seen so far. And I know that for a lot of us, I can't give it an A because we didn't get the game-winning drive against the Niners.
Yeah, that I understand. I guess there was a lot of. I think 70% of people might be lying a little bit. They might be goosing a little bit. I would put me in the top category, right? Put me in the. I'm surprised to the upside, maybe quite surprised. I thought he'd be good. And I think for me, he's definitely exceeded that. I didn't expect him to come out. And what's the PF? Where's PFF have him after week 3? It's pretty good, right?
PFF does have him graded out very well. And especially when you compare him to the rest of the NFL, because when you're number 1, there's really nobody above you then. And it was kind of shocking for me to look at this, Clinton, because when I think of all the quarterback play that I've seen, does a quarterback grade of 91.9, does that match up with what you've seen from Darnold so far, and especially in comparison with the rest of the NFL?
I mean, the last 2 games, it pretty much has, right? Game 1, there was more to be desired there. Even with the interceptions versus Steelers, it did.
Even with the interceptions, 2 interceptions in one game,
I mean,
you could still be up at the top.
To me, one was not his fault at all. So I just don't put that one on him. But then yesterday was like 14 of 18, perfect, right? 2 touchdowns, no clean sheet, and basically as perfect a day as you can get. So I thought this is interesting. It's still out there. If you've got comments on what Sam, has done for you so far, drop those in the comments, of course. And I do want to say a quick hello to our boy Kenny Burns, saying Arizona is about to be off the hook, and he's asking how we're doing. So anybody that's going to be, Kenny is hosting with Earl Thomas is going to be there too. A Seahawks pep rally. It's going to be at Salt Tacos Tequila in Arizona on 9/25. So that's coming right up. So they're doing that on Wednesday, I believe that is, right? Or is that Thursday? Either way, he'll let us know.
He'll let us know.
He'll let us know. Earl Thomas is going to be there, and then they have a post game also party, and of course they're going to the game out there. So any of the flockers that are heading to Arizona, say hello to Kenny here. He could give you all the details, but a really good dude. And Kenny helped us get a sweet spot when we were in Seattle for week 1, of course, as well. So appreciate that, man, and have a lot of fun out there. So Brandon, okay, so we get the dub, and you know what? I was in Florida when the game started. Well, Florida when the day started. Got home, got back to Connecticut, fired up the game, prepared this entire whole show. We're gonna go through some great stuff. But Brandon, I lost my sticky, man. I lost my sticky again. Uh-oh. I know there's a rule. I know there's one rule. I don't remember it. I need your help, bud.
Well, Clinton, it's this little thing that's called winning, and when we do that, we start with an in. So there's even a little rhyme that I believe that I've come up with. I think I've maybe even sent it to the patent office to make sure that it never gets forgotten by the American people as a whole. When we win, we start with an in.
We start with an in. Hit that whammy, buddy. Let's start this thing. All right. We start with an in.
Patent, trademark,
the whole thing.
Global timestamp.
All those
That's the thing I made up.
I like that one. Global timestamp. I like that. All right. So in number 1, we're going to call this one Mamba mentality. And so Brandon, that's probably enough of a clue that you probably know who we're going to focus on. But why don't you tell me? Because I know you like solving these little puzzles.
Mamba mentality. I feel like that's just a little bit of a throwback to a basketball player, Kobe Bryant, who unfortunately was not around to witness this game. R.I.P. Kobe Bryant. But we do have our own Kobe Bryant, Kobe with a C.
Gotta be, right? That's Mamba mentality. So this is Q1, 5:33 to go. And we're going to go to the videotape in a sec here. 2nd and 25. And New Orleans is on their own 17. And oh, by the way, it's already 14-0 Seahawks. So let's go to the video here. We're going to let this play through. And then see, we got Bryant highlighted there. He's coming down, crashing down on this little wide receiver bubble. They're trying to get a little cute here. New Orleans is. We showed a few more times. He's fighting through traffic. I love this, man. Bryant just stepping up when other safeties are down. And in fact, I didn't really love how Kendrick played this one. I thought Kendrick had a nice game. Didn't love what he's doing here, but fighting through, actually taking a block to the back, still getting the New Orleans same player. They're down to the ground. They're not sure who that is, but let me just rewind right quick, play it again. And Kobe Bryant is taking the first in here, deep from the safety position. He's been real solid, man. I mean, this is like 2.5 years now of solid Kobe Bryant. He's getting the first in, and I really like what I see out from him all the time. Brandon, what do you got?
Maybe you didn't like Kendrick there because he was getting held, and
he does get held towards the end. Yeah, he's trying to set an edgy thing,
yes,
but I don't love the angle, to be honest. But I really love that Bryant fights through it all and makes a. I mean, look at that lateral, beautiful quickness there, and still making a tackle. So yeah, maybe he's just setting up his partner in crime there, Brandon, to make him look that much better.
Kobe Bryant played 67 of the defensive snaps overall, 73. So only took 6 plays off on the day, and he was one of your top graded Seahawks. The aforementioned PFF grades, he was at 72.3 and finished the day 3 tackles. So and 2 of those for stops. So a nice game there by Kobe Bryant. I think there was even a play later on where he had a nice pass breakup over the middle too.
He did. So it's a nice, easy, you know, sometimes you take the 5-iron out, the 3-iron out, and you want to just get right down the, or, you know, just keep in the short stuff, keep it easy. No one's after all these special teams, amazing plays and Sam's great day, which you kind of touched on in the preamble there, and other stuff by like JSN, et cetera, et cetera. We're not going to hear many people be talking about Kobe Bryant's game and tackles, but a sound play is a sound play. And I wanted to start that way. All right, Brandon, we got some outs to get to. Fire that whammy up, my man. Okay. This one's a little bit trickier. If you get this one, then you're darn good. I'm going to call this out one, bailed out by bruh. Bailed out by bruh. So I wonder if you know this one. This one's tough.
No, I don't even know. Do I get a clue based on offense or defense?
Yeah. So the out is going to be going to where we're on offense. So it's good. It's an offensive out, and it's Q1, 9:57 to go. We kind of turn back the clock here. In one was 14-0. We're back to zeros. So this is basically drive one after New Orleans gave the ball back to us. It's 3rd and 8, and we are marching. We're on New Orleans 24-yard line.
How about Robbie Oots? Going with Robbie Oots.
Gotcha. Not Oots, but pretty good all the same. Let's take a look at the video here. Let's bring it back up on screen. And Ryan Ball's kind of getting towards it. So we got Bradford here. We'll let it play through. Bradford it's broken up right away. Bradford, he wasn't great in this game is what it boils down to. You can see he's got a guy coming to his inside, just does really less than nothing. It's not a good job. And what I highlight here,
what gave you that impression? Like when he had his back toward the end zone and was actually facing Sam Darnold. That's usually the first clue that your offensive lineman has not done a great job.
Yeah, when you start to see his number again here, and the thing is, I mean, stopping it real quick, it's not like it's a surprise blitz. You know, I think it's a linebacker. He's coming down. He's obviously right in that A gap, and I don't think this is like a misunderstanding of assignment. I just think he just gets flat beat, and he really should have done a better job here. So gets batted down in his face. The bailed out by Bra part is this ends up being a 15-yard penalty on Brazier, and we'll show that in a sec. So Bradford just beat kind of badly. And then this last one, we slow it down away from the play. Zabel's getting into Brazier out there, gives him a little shove, and then boom, hits him.
Brazier, is that his new nickname?
For
Brian Brazier?
Brazier. It was a long day for me too. Yeah, Brian Brazier couldn't hold much up. He's costing the Manzier himself, costing the team 15 yards. But this is big early because this would be a Myers attempt and not a gimme. And instead, the very next play is a JSN beautiful little layers concept where the spacing between Cup, JSN, I think it's Barner, it's just really, really well run. And you got Sam on the boot and you got a touchdown. But we're going to talk about it a little bit more later too. But at this point, Brandon, the parts of this offensive line are still not getting it done, bud.
Yeah. And it was Bradford on the day with a 27.7 PFF grade. So I suppose that should have been my first clue. Is if I were to look at those, and maybe it's because I didn't have time to scroll to the bottom of the list and see them all the way down there.
Sure.
But
it's a long scroll, yeah.
Not a great day for it. One plus thing you can say about Anthony Bradford, he did not give up a sack. So kudos to him. But neither did anybody else on the offensive line.
True. He did not give up a sack. And look, it's never all bad, and we put things in isolation. I understand all that. With all that, there were parts of the line that I thought really struggled. We'll focus on that a bit more because while this is a big win and a really good win, parts of it for me, Brandon, kind of felt like last year when we beat Skylar Thompson of the Dolphins, and I was sitting there on that 3-3 out being like, I don't understand why McDaniels didn't run the ball more. They were running the ball well. They just stopped running the ball, and they threw at Skylar Thompson a bajillion times. If they ran the ball, they might have actually won that game. And it was a bit of a, putting up a little yellow warning sign for me last year, being like, we were out of the gate strong at 3-0, but I didn't think we were actually all that good. Totally different tale this year. I think we're actually a much better team at 2-1, but still some worrisome things that are happening in some specific parts of the line, which we'll talk about. All right. Well, that is the
one
Alex.
question before we move on.
Please.
Who was that again that got Brzee to commit the penalty?
That was first round pick Gray Zabel who got that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just wanted to make sure people understood that Gray Zabel is very useful out there, right? And a very good first pick. All right, let's whammy it. We got some more ins. Let's do it. All right. This one's gonna be tough too, because how the heck he guessed. If you guess this, you're just amazing. But in number 2, I'm just saying this dog is a D-O-double-G, of course, referencing the man Snoop Dogg. This is our dog. He's become absolutely a player I love watching. It's already 41-6. We'll go over that in a second.
Oh my gosh.
But Brandon, so
are any starters still in the game at this point?
That's the thing. They were. And this is why I'm highlighting stuff this deep in the game.
All right. Ernest Jones.
Oh, that's a good guess. That's a good guess. It's not Ernest Jones. So it's Q3, 11:24 to go. 1st and 10, New Orleans on their own 24. It is 41-6. Now, you could mail it in at 41-6, even with 11 minutes to go. McDonald does not mail it in, and this player being featured here does not mail this in. Let's go to the videotape, and we're highlighting Murphy here. Watch Murph take on a double team, get down the line, and then be in on this tackle with Tyrese Knight. Tyrese Knight does well, by the way. We'll see a few more angles of it, but he does this all the time. All the time. Just working vertically, and then I slow it down to show his feet, I think, on the next one. To highlight this. Look at and I think I highlighted too. Like, look at the power he's just generating, moving dudes sideways. Yeah. He's a beast out there. He gets his second and a half sack. Really, really cool. Love seeing that. So for the glory numbers to start coming along in second year for him. But these are the plays where I'm like, my God, when they said he's strong as you know what in the preseason, to me, Brandon, this is what they're talking about.
Byron Murphy was your defensive leader in pressures on the day. Now, we're not looking at a passing snap here, yes, we're looking at a run play. But yeah, in terms of the passing game, 5 pressures. He had 2 stops. I really was impressed by the sack in particular. And this is a cool play because it also speaks to just the way they were able to shut down Kamara. And here they are still trying to run the ball with a little effectiveness in the fourth quarter. And it's because Byron Murphy making the stop and getting the tackle there.
And I think we're winning at every single level here, meaning everybody down the line's doing their job. The edge is set very well. Kamara's like, I can't bounce this outside. And then he's running into, if we just back it up again, like where Murphy's starting, right? Where Murphy's starting and how.
And he's starting with a double team.
Yes. And how laterally gets like 5-6 yards to the left. He's just taking it away, giving Tyrese Knight enough time to free up from his guy, who was, I think, the tackle bouncing to his level and being in on the tackle. And the whole time you have DeMarcus Lawrence doing his job. It's just good defense, man.
Yeah, Lawrence set the edge perfectly there too, and just gets his hand to the outside, and Kamara goes, oh nope, can't go that way, and then hops inside, and there's Murphy, there's Knight, and just able to bottle him up.
It's just good.
One other great play by Murphy though, it was that sack, because
sack was great.
It was not, he at the start of that play, he's being double teamed. And essentially, he takes both of his arms and pushes, I believe it was the center and the guard, and then just stunts inside, like after shoving both dudes. And then he's right there. And part of that speaks to the pressure, too, that they were able to generate from the outside around Rattler, because he steps up. He then goes to step up into the pocket, and Byron Murphy says, nope, I'm not being blocked anymore because I just shoved my two dudes backward, and now this is my sack.
I love you bringing that up. And obviously you're there live, you're watching it, and I'm sure you probably watched a little bit of this already when you were home. And on the game cast, that's the broadcast. That's the word they use for that. It's on the anyway. Back to Brazier. But on the broadcast, they were like, "Oh, Murphy should thank the DBs. That's a coverage sack." And I'm like, "Is it?" Like, he's there pretty quick. Now probably is good coverage where maybe read one wasn't there, like Rattler's first read maybe is covered up, and that's cool. But it wasn't like some long winding play where he gets a cleanup sack. And I just didn't understand that. So I'm glad to hear you say that too, because my eyes were telling me on that sack, it's like, no, he did a lot of work, quick work. And then once he kind of cleared a lane for himself, he celebrated the quarterback Rattler with quickness, and just really, it was a beautiful sack. So
yeah, if they referred to that as a quote unquote coverage sack,
they did,
that's usually reserved for, I don't know, when a guy gets to his second and third read.
Yeah, but it's like 3.5 seconds. And then, okay, the guy, all right, you beat a tackle at the end of it because the guy's tired, but not at all. One thing we're not tired of, Brandon, is this. Take it away.
Marcus Milligan coming in with a $15 super chat into Byron Murphy II, quickly becoming the next Aaron Donald. Ooh. And also in to the brand in. Yeah, stick around for the Brandon, because that comes after the ins and outs and before from the flock. So stick around for it all. Marcus, thank you very much, dude. A member out on youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. And that's an amazing super chat. That's really much appreciated, dude. Thanks to Dogzilla Monster for giving me an 89.1 so far. I believe that makes me the top ranked Seahawkers podcast host. So nice. Even though it's not 100, I'll take it. That's a pretty good, what we would call that, a DFF, a Dogzilla, whatever the F stand for in PFF grade. So 89.1 is good. I'm below that because I've already made like 17 errors and we're like 15 minutes in. All right, let's hit that whammy, bud. I don't know. I think you should get an upgrade for the use of Brazier. Perfect. Hit it. All right. Out number 2. We're going to simply call this one. There's a big clue on screen here, though. Big clue on screen. Ooh. Maybe several. Okay. But we're calling this one, come on, Rook. So you can look at the time of game. Again, it's 41-6. But if Byron Murphy can go out there and give that kind of effort when we're up 41-6, then I want a rookie to give at least that kind of effort. We're going to look at something where I think he fell a little short. Any idea who it might be? Yeah, if there's a rookie that jumps out to me, I think Marlon has it in the chat. Number 18. I would go with Elijah Arroyo. You guys, you know me so well. You're getting good at this. All right, let's roll the tape. We'll look at it real quick here. We're highlighting. We got JSN on the orbit. Out to JSN. Actually, we should probably get rid of the 3 and 3 out the top if you can, Brandon, if you don't mind. But we'll see it a few more times here. There's the orbit, a little behind the line or whatever, parallel, who cares? Really, more importantly, is JSN does get the first down, but Arroyo, just for my money here, man, I think that was it. Yeah, let me back up. Arroyo doesn't do nearly good enough here. And it's a nice play. I think it's Alante David, I think his name is, corner. He's obviously cued in. They're obviously well coached for this play. So kudos there. With all that, Rook, you got one job. You cannot let the corner, you're a tight end, maybe a big X, but we'll see. You're a tight end. You cannot let the cornerback get across your face and be the first dude making contact here. It's just bad execution. This is not a bad play because on the outside, I think we have good blocking. And if he does his job and turns Alante to the inside, then he's got a nice gap there to go get whatever, at least a few more yards without getting contacted 2 yards before the line of scrimmage. Brandon, what do you think of Arroyo, and I guess in this play in particular? It feels like with Arroyo's speed, he should be able to, as this ball is snapped, he does have the outside shoulder. Yes. The defender makes a good move to get outside, but with Arroyo's speed, like I expect him to be able to take that angle and take that DB out of the play. You're picking it exactly up how I saw it too. Is like, look, he's on your inside shoulder if you're Arroyo, right? So you have the angle. You know where the play is going. Even if he knows where the play is going, you certainly know where the play is going. So the inability to get across, to allow him to cross your face and make this tackle, it's just, again, it's not good enough for me. I will say I'm still harboring a bit of draft bias, and I am a little clouded by that. I still don't love what we did in the second round. It may pan out really, really well. I was not a huge fan of this pick, but I'm trying not to harp on a dude because of my draft bias. Mm-hmm. But when I see this and I hear things like he's a willing blocker, but I know it's only 3 weeks in, but I'm like, man, I really just wish we had maybe
deployed that capital in a different way. I want him to be really good. This just doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies that I'm seeing what can become a complete NFL tight end. Now, I will say it's game 3, and I got to give the Rook some time to improve his game for sure.
I think based off of watching this a couple more times, I think the defensive back does a really good job recognizing it early and trying to sell by kind of leaning in a little bit. Arroyo still needs to make that play.
He does. And, always a silver lining. He got Horton out there he did his job. He's doing work. And we're going to look at some stuff later too.
JSN got the first down too.
JSN does awesome.
Credit to him.
JSN is freaking awesome. This is 3 and 3 out, so we don't really talk about JSN too much. JSN is
I'm just saying
awesome.
If Arroyo makes that block, we probably score 50. And
then then you could have came home instead of staying at you could have been
I live at the stadium now. I don't know if for those of you who aren't in the Discord not getting the joke. I mentioned during the game, probably even before the fourth quarter, that I'm not coming home until we score. I said I wasn't leaving the stadium because as I mentioned up top, maybe some things that we could have done better as fans, like, I don't know, maybe stayed in the stadium until our Seahawks team finished the game. I understand that traffic is bad, but it was pretty empty by the end of the fourth quarter.
That's funny. It was such a blowout that the fans, it was like, okay, let's just get on. I think the fans knew too. It's like, hey, if by that time, if we're resting our players, then I'm going to rest my voice. Maybe some of them are heading to Arizona.
Oh, I started resting my voice. I think actually a lot of us, we went to third down mode.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we can kind of take it. We can clap and make some noise with our hands, and then we'll be more vocal when it comes to third down. Like at that point, I understand that, but you could stay in your seat and cheer on a team, especially, when we haven't had a whole lot of home success lately. And maybe just to recognize at the end of the game to stand up and cheer our home team for giving us a home victory. Like I could do that. I felt obligated to do that. In fact. Yeah.
Jason Turner saying it was already party time, man. It was people were just bolting, and you got the Mariners, sweeping the Astros. I think the city was in. Was in party.
If the excuse was, hey, this game's over, I want to get home so I can watch the third game of the series against the Astros. Okay.
Acceptable.
I'll take that as an acceptable Seattle fan excuse.
Okay, fair enough. In week 3 for the M's fans out there, I'm a Mets fan, so we're quickly sliding out of the playoff picture. But for the M's fans out there, go get it. It's a very exciting team. All right, let's get that last in, Brandon. Oh my. Okay,
I'm never going to get this one.
Yeah, this one's is like...
There's 2 dudes on the team named Reed, and the clue is read the room. I have a 50-50 shot right here.
That's true. It's true. Let's see where you go. So it is Q4, 11:56. I said it like this, Q4. I'm not sure that matters.
Jarek Reed.
Careful. Could be a trick. 3rd and 3. New Orleans is now on Seattle's 37, and we're up by a bajillion. And I love this play. So we're going to talk about it on 3 and 3 out. Who do you think it's about?
I'm going to say Jarek Reed.
It is about Jaren Reed. Jaren Reed's still out there.
Or Jarek?
Jaren. Jaren. He's still out there. So I got him highlighted here. What I want, we're up 44-13 in the fourth quarter, right? Look at the effort. Look at, this is just watching a grown man move another grown man, and it's not really close who's the better, more aggressive and stronger person. This is sick, and it blows up the play. I just look at this. He blew the guy 5 yards off the freaking ball. This is the fourth quarter, and we're up by 31. The all 22 doesn't even give it really justice because their other angle is so much better. I think I go back to it. Actually, I do. Man, this is some grown man stuff, Brandon. And then you got Mike Mo coming down. He doesn't get blocked. When I first wrote this in my book, because they take notes during the game, I had like, oh, Mike Mo, TFL. Like this, let's talk about Mike Mo. Mike Mo deserves some love. He does. Mike Mo played pretty good. But the real winner here is us as Seahawks fans watching Jaren Reed and Byron Murphy blow up another freaking play. This defensive line, Brandon, it's got me goosed, man. I don't know what to say.
It's definitely got you goosed. And for Jaren Reed, it was interesting watching and seeing who was still out there at the end of the day. But he finished right behind Murphy, 4 pressures, and which is really nice to have those guys up the middle, getting a lot of pressure on Spencer Rattler. He had 2 quarterback hits, and let's see, he also had 1 stop on the day. So good defensive stat line. In terms of the defensive line, I think I would have liked to see more sacks. Like, can we get more sacks, please?
More sacks would be cool. Remember, we once again did the thing where we gave away a sack. So Leo Williams gets a sack, and I think it was Ty Okada decides to pick Rattler's legs up and carry him like he's Han Solo and Carbonite after he's been frozen, transporting Han Solo. And I guess they didn't like that. Then they also called the penalty.
They flagged Leo for it.
They did, which was stupid. And I think they thought he picked him up. And I think the NFL will actually reverse that if they go back and look at those things, because it's probably finable potentially, right? So I think that'll get eradicated from Leo's sheet because he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, but I don't know even if Okada did anything wrong. Had the refs blown the whistle by that point? Like, if a guy's still moving his feet and you want to make him stop moving his feet, how about you pick the feet up off the ground and then you're not going anywhere, Spencer.
Well, I like the way you think, because nowadays you're not, if he's engaged, then you can't go low, right? You can't take the dude's knees out because they'll flag that. So picking his knees up and placing him on the ground seemed like the gentlemanly thing to do, but they flagged him anyway. So we did lose some stuff there. Again, Derek Hall had a huge game. He was really, really good. Mafe had some good disruption. Hall, I'll keep saying it until he gets his sacks. He should have had 2 to 3 sacks already this year. And he just hasn't. It's not even hasn't gotten home, because that's not even the case. But again, he's mauled on the way to the quarterback on 3rd down. Again, happened last week as well. So what are you going to do? I think the totality of disruption with the front 4, though, Brandon, this is a team, and the point I want to land on here and why I'm picking out Byron Murphy and Jaren Reed, it's the core of why we're really, really good. And this is sustainable defensive success. You get pressure with 4 dudes. I don't care if you're Tom Brady. Ask him about his Giants games and Super Bowls. It doesn't matter. You get pressure with 4, you could beat any team. And I'm kind of feeling a little bullish about the team at this point, Brandon.
I'm good. I'm glad you feel bullish about the team, especially after a couple games and after a Steelers win that maybe was unlikely. And then a game, I think why it's so exciting in a game against the Saints, we were expecting a win, but you want to see your team blow out bad teams. And that's exactly what we got. And they did it in every phase. They did it on offense. They did it on special teams. They blew them up on defense. So every single phase, they dominated and have the scoreboard to show for it.
Yeah, we're about to go to halftime, and it's a good battle between the Ravens and Lions. So if you got other flockers out there that are watching the game, we understand that. It's a good matchup. Tell them to come on in, enjoy halftime with us. We got one more out to get to. That's how it works when you win and start with ins. Let's get to that last out, buddy. Okay, no timestamp, because what I've got queued up, Brandon, is a series of plays that are focusing on our offensive line. I'm calling it out 3, none if by land. It's a little punny, I suppose. What's not funny or punny is some of the the inability to run the ball consistently when we get 44 points and really it's kind of Sam doing things early and JSN doing things early. Yep, sure. K9 had a couple of touchdowns, short yardage that he earned those touchdowns. There's still a big lack of consistency. And as awesome as having a front 4 like we have on defense is, and how that could lead to a lot of wins, you do have to pair that with consistent offensive line play. We're not quite there yet. Going to run through a few of them. You ready to face something that's not as pretty as the ends? You ready?
Fine. Let's get to it. Let's get to an out. But it's the last one. So if we're turning an out to an in, hey, we're almost through the outs. We are almost through the outs. All right. So we got a couple here. We're starting with the first round of the game. We're just going through a couple. And the main point I want to make here, and this is a discussion that's going on in our Discord, and everybody knows who we're discussing here, is if you're going to watch the left side of the line versus the right side of the line, Cross and Zabel, to me, they are basically almost always doing their job. The challenge you're going to see is a lot of times with Sundell and sometimes the athleticism and what they're asking him to do in wide zone. It's not easy. It's not like
I'm not saying he's got an easy job, but I'm also saying I think he's falling a little short sometimes.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, Bradford is uneven at this point as well. First one, I don't think this is really a big deal here. Nicely played. They fill it. This first run of the game. Okay, we're going to run through a few, and a couple of them I just, here's Sundell. Now he's got a guy, shaded to his right. He's got a free lane to go get Werner, the linebacker, who's, right there, number 20, I think it is, who's also shaded to his right. And now it's a nice play by Werner, but he ain't there. He's not there. And again, this is where I'm like, I'm not killing Sundell. This is hard. But if you want to run wide zone and you got to have the horses to make this play, great play by the linebacker. Sundell ain't there. He gets beat. Boom. Blown up by Werner. That's a really nice play by a good, I thought the linebacker played well. Left side, again, showing things that the hole's there. This time for me, Brandon, was simply, I think this is, K9, I think, ran pretty well here. It's the next one. Sorry, we'll rotate through. This one, I put the arrow in there. I think K9 just makes a bad decision. Like, it's there. That hole's right there. He dances for a little bit. He's even got, somebody else crashing down the line, and he decides to not take it. So that one, to me, is on K9. Here's a Bradford one that this gets blown up. This is a touchdown, right?
Now, sometimes K9 makes those types of moves to try and get the second level to declare themselves as to what hole they're going into. So I don't know if you want to call it dancing, I guess, but part of that is to just a little bit of a head fake to try and get the defender then to maybe pick the wrong hole before he goes in the direction that he intends. Yeah,
I definitely know that he does do that, right? And I guess I'm suggesting in this one, like, there's no reason. His players to the right are being beat. And here's a situation where Sundell did his job, Zabel and Cross did their job. There's a hole there. Now he might only get 4 or 5 yards, or maybe 6 or 7, but to me, it's the wrong read. It's just like, hit that thing. And I did see a comment also saying, can't expect the center to make that play in the linebacker. I agree. That's a tough play. But in this offense, in this wide zone, Stuart, that's exactly what they are expecting. That's why it's hard. So I'm not killing Sundell. I recognize that's a really nice play by a fast linebacker, but that's what they're asking. So that's why I kind of failed.
On the Sundell play, I was looking at Bradford in particular because I know we were kind of being hard on Bradford, and he actually makes a really good block on the play that you're killing Sundell on. So, it seems like there's no.
Yep.
I guess with the run game so far, it's hard to find outside of the tackles consistency among the three guys as to how well they do their jobs from play to play. Like, sometimes it's Sundell, sometimes it's Bradford, sometimes Zabel's missing it, and then even Robbie Oots. Like, we love our fullback, but there's some plays where he could have done a whole lot better. So we really want to get all these guys playing tough, and I think too, Ryan Bell recognizing the Saints, they practice to stop the run all week, and Sean Scotchman saying, yeah, but the Saints were up in the box because they respected the run, and that's why the passing game was good. And so it's the good thing about the run game is that it did do what it was essentially intended to do, and that is bring the extra guys up on the line, create more one-on-one matchups with the receivers. And the thing is that I think you want that next step to be taken, is that this is our identity, and if everybody's doing their jobs, it doesn't matter how many guys they put up on the line. If we can consistently block well, we can still pick up those extra yards and get them whenever we need them.
I love the take. I think that's exactly right. And Adam and I handled the post-game duties last night, and I kind of asked Adam a similar question. I said, does it bug you that we didn't get the run results, or the run yards, versus like the intent to do it and how often we did it gave us the ultimate result we wanted, which was Sam was 14 of 18, and he was able to, get chunk plays basically whenever he wanted them. It wasn't like Sam was dinking and dunking. These were a lot of 10-yard, 10 air yard plus passes, and he was awesome on them and help from the wide receivers. So the scheme, I think, did what it intended to do. So it's a really, really good point. I do want to keep just highlighting that the left side of the line, I think, is doing their job. So here, Bradford gets beat across his face, blows the play up. I'm yelling at K9 for dance in 1 second. He has to dance here. He's getting hit at the 4-yard line. He's strong enough to get it in, but you look where Zabel is. Okay, Cross is getting twisted now, but Cross already, Cross already won his rep, enough for a goal line. If you just look at what the hole that's here on the left-hand side, Zabel and Cross do their thing. That hole's right there.
Yep.
If Bradford's not beat and he doesn't have to bounce that so far wide, he's going right through a hole they created. So it's what you're saying is spot on. It's just not homogenous yet. We're not solid all together, and one will fall down and it's breaking. It's just we're a smidgen away from being really consistent with the run game. But I don't know, and this is a nice play, by the way, too. I just don't know if we're going to get there with this makeup. Maybe we do, because people can get better, players can get better. I'm through 3 games. I'm not seeing it. I highlight Zabel here. I'm not trying to be like, oh my gosh, he had the greatest game of all time. He played well. You can't do this with many left guards. They got this look at this formation, right? So you got, obviously you see where Sundell is, then Zabel, then Cross, I think, then 2 tight ends sitting there. And look what they ask. But watch Zabel. Look what they ask him to go do at the goal line. Look at this. Okay, come across and kick out. Does his job. There's not that many left guards that are going to be able to do that. So really like that. I don't know if you had any comments on that formation or what you're seeing from Zabel in particular.
Yeah, I don't remember where he ended up. So as you highlighted him there, I was trying to think, okay, which direction is he most likely to go? Is he gonna, he's shaded outside the nose there. So is he gonna block down on the nose? Is he gonna, try and pass somebody off? He goes like 4 guys down and essentially is on the edge then. Outside of the other guys, the other 2 tight ends there.
Yeah, he's kicking out. I think that's maybe a safety that comes down or something like that, or if that's just that's just a D. I don't know. I can't see the number. I think it's a safety. He comes down, he kicks him out, and he gets there, and he does the job, and the rest of the team does a job there too. It's just some dirty work, really kind of cool formation. This from the 1.5, 2 yard line. This to me is that what did Abe say? Non-negotiable. Right during the preseason, Brandon. So this felt like a nice non-negotiable to me. And
this is a credit to the run game on the day too. They had a couple goal line penalties and they punched it in twice.
Yes, yeah, that's
goal line plays. So on the goal line is where we've seen this team struggle in the past, and 100%. For them to punch it in. I was very happy about that. Very,
very happy. Sundell struggles in this one, and we're almost done here. So this is, again, it's very, very similar. This time he's not asked. So Stewart, he's not asked to go beat a linebacker who's just going to be big, faster. He's going against the nose here, and he gets beat across his face. Nose takes him all the way out, goes around Zabel, who makes a good block again. Zabel's got his thing covered, and blows it up. So that's the last out. There's good in there. I want to talk about the ceiling of this team, Brandon, and the ceiling of this team, I think, is going to go as high as that O-line can get to be consistent. So I wanted to draw that out because there was a lot to love in this game, and I'm still like, man, it's still meat on the bone is my take.
I agree. Yeah, that's it's the one area of the team that you could probably focus on and say that's where I think they need the most consistency, game in, game out. And it's tough because you can see it being close, yes. But can they do it with the guys that they have, or is this going to be another area where by the end of the season, are they going to be able to get there at the end of the season? And I don't know if I believe they can yet.
I'm not sure. I need to see more. And the cool part is there's a game in 3 days. So we're going to get to see more. Ryan 911, our live executive producer, saying ceiling is 16-1. I like that, Ryan. That's good stuff. Also, Brandon, let's hit that whammy one more time because we got something special right here. Let's do it. Okay. You know,
we're doing pre-brand in whammies now.
Why not?
This is new.
I don't know, Jim. I don't know. Look, it's 3 and 3 out. We know the rule, and we also had this beautiful little bumper edition that when we win, not only do we start with an in, but we get the brand in. You take it, you serve it to me. I sit back and I be quiet. Brandon, what was the play that got you goosed in this game from the stands, from home, wherever you might be? What's got you goosed?
Flocktimus Prime here joining us live on
what do you
YouTube.
Mean? What do you mean, Brandon?
That looks exactly like me.
Keith, that's
if you are not watching at home, there is an AI representation of me up on the screen right now, and it looks exactly like me. And I don't know why you would say, who is that? There's me on one side of the screen. There's my AI representation that looks exactly like me on the other side of the screen. How would you question which one's me?
Keith, you were just with the guy.
They're the same picture.
Yeah. That then is a circle, Keith. You were just with the guy at Wild Wings or whatever, wherever we were, not too many days ago. That was fun. Dave and Buster should give them credit. That was a good time. So Keith, that's clearly Brandon. So, all right, Brandon, what do you like? What was your Brandon? And there's a lot to choose from, man. So how the heck did you get to this one?
Well, it's interesting because I think one of the first outs that you showed up on the screen is actually my in.
Nice.
And my in this game is Gray Zabel for taking the 15-yard penalty against Brian Brazier, or Brazier, if you prefer that as his last name.
I do.
And I think we all do now. But I don't know if you remember exactly what happened after that play, but that was a third down play that the Saints they had the Seahawks off the field, but it was Gray Zabel up against a Clemson SEC defensive lineman and taking the penalty that then sets up the JSN touchdown on the very next play. My in is going to rookie Gray Zabel.
I love it. And the big thing, man, is like, look, he's hitting Brazier, right? He's kind of jostling with him, and the play's not dead yet, and he gets under his skin at the right time. I'm not saying he's thinking he's going to coax a 15-yarder. I don't care. He did coax a 15-yarder. That is a difference of attempting a 40-something yard field goal versus going up 7-0 at home versus getting JSN his first touchdown of the young season versus getting Sam Darnold on the move and cooking a little bit more and really putting, a stamp on that final drive. So Brandon, I love it for
you nailed it too, because
reasons.
that's the other part of this. This is what starts the snowball against the New Orleans Saints, because they get that touchdown, and then after that, you're adding on. Gosh, was it the punt block that happened, or it was the punt return for a touchdown that happened after that? I don't know. There's so many scores that happened in such a small period of time that, but it was really that helped kick off that series of 3 quick scores that showed us that you can win in the first quarter.
Yeah, they came out hot and stayed hot and kept on going from there. And Stewart saying, how about that Darnold, folks? And we did talk about that at the top. And we did talk about Darnold a lot last night in the live reaction because he really, 14 for 18 with a clean sheet and 2 touchdowns and 230-something yards. There was some comment out on YouTube, and I should go get the name. We love all comments. It's all good. It's like whether I agree or disagree, who cares? But it was tied to the poll, Brandon, and they were like, oh well, he's kind of just met my expectations for me, and he was like rattling off some stats and being like, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and basically 200 yards a game. How could that be anything but like basically average, right? It's like, yeah, sure. And in the last game, 14 of 18, 200 plus yards, extremely basically the best game you could play, a perfect game from like a PFF standpoint and the eye test. And if they needed to pass more in that game, and let's say you had to throw the ball 28 times, I think he was like well on his way to a 3-4 touchdown day and 300 something yards. So don't love the idea of like just going stats based. It's like, no, that's why for me, I would vote A and be like, no, he's exceeded my expectations so far. So yeah, Darnold's been real good, dude.
Yeah. And I guess that's why it's so hard for me to be high or low on him necessarily, especially after a team win like that. But I mean, you look at the throws that Sam needed to make and did make, and gosh, the one that was most impressive too, where he was getting pressured, able to escape the pocket through another toss out to JSN to get the first down, and ended up being a big explosive play. And I guess if I were to pick from all the plays that Sam made, that was probably the one that impressed me the most, was him being able to escape, look downfield, make that play to JSN. And then I know that in the small group around us at the stadium, a lot of us were really impressed with the check down to Ken Walker late in the game that ended up being, I think it was a 12-yard play.
Yeah, I think so.
And,
yeah.
And, that's not a play that maybe we've been used to seeing. It's just a quick check down to the running back that ends up being like an easy first down.
Yeah. And under pressure. The thing you said there too, that I just want to re-highlight is Sam has now in a couple of games in a row it's one thing to be clutch at the end of a game when, you could quote unquote win a game in the fourth quarter. It's another thing to be clutch at the beginning of a game where you can get out to a lead. This is 2 games in a row where he comes up with some big third downs on their first possession, and we put 7 on the board. So again, I didn't expect that, so I would have voted A. But folks can certainly still vote for that. But by the way, what does that mean? I've seen this before. What does this mean?
I didn't expect my brand in to turn into a Sam Darnold love fest, but Flocktimus Prime putting up the appropriate acronym for our Seahawks quarterback, GEQBUS, and that is God Emperor Quarterback of the United States.
Yes, I forgot. Wonderful. Flocktimus, always good to have you here live. And of course, it is great to have Josh DeHuman live with us. He's got the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Josh. You were hanging out last night too. Very generous with your time and the super chats, dude. We appreciate you. Says Sam Darnold in his prove the haters wrong era, and I'm here for it as a Darnold truther. Go Hawks. Josh is a very active member of our Discord, and from Jump Street, Brandon, he's been on I think Sam Darnold can do what he did last year, and heck, maybe even improve, because people are allowed to get better.
They can. And I guess what I'm reserving my Sam Darnold, I've seen everything that I need to see to know that Sam Darnold is a really good regular season quarterback. I want Sam Darnold to come in and do something that Geno Smith couldn't do, and that's win a playoff game. And that's what I want. If he's going to prove the Darnold haters wrong, then you can call me a Darnold hater until he wins a playoff game, and then I will be proven wrong, and then I'll be on the Sam train too.
I want to be on that Sam train with you. All right, let's take it now to the MVC. This is, of course, the most valuable cranny. We got to fire up the 3D printer. Brandon, it's back-to-back weeks. I would imagine the 3D printer is totally fine, ready to rock and roll, no issues. Still early?
It's fine. Yeah, it's ready to go. We're ready to just see who's going to be engraved on this MVC this week.
Yes, all right. So here we go. So drum roll, please, and it's going to be... It is Byron Murphy, the defensive tackle. And on the back of the beautiful sports card that we're getting printed by the 3D printer, along with the trophy, of course, it says, for making double teams look like fledgling one-on-ones all day long. It's got the date. It's got the score. It's got Byron Murphy just looking so satisfied on that front of that sports card. What do you think of the selection?
I love it. Byron Murphy getting the MVC. That's going to look really good in his locker. And you know that Byron Murphy's a guy that likes to show off all of his little trophies. Yeah. And so he's going to make sure that the entire defensive line knows that he won the MVC, and then they're all going to be gunning for it from here on out.
Yeah, it's a very real thing. We very definitely print this. It's getting to the VMAC, and congrats to Byron Murphy. I think that might be, I have to go back and look. That might be his first. I'm not even sure, of his career. Could be. Probably should have looked that up. So, but Love people
At
celebrating
least
that.
looked it up if you were going to bring it up, and then maybe not brought it up at all if we didn't know.
Yeah, why start now? All right, so here we go. So, folks, we still have From the Flock coming at you right now, so stick around. And if you're live with us and you didn't drop one in Discord, it's your chance to shout out your ins and outs as well. We'll try to get them on screen. Of course, you can go to getintheflock.com. Brandon, if they do want to be part of that Discord, get the awesome perks, help us grow the Hawkra. What should they be doing, bud?
Yeah, getintheflock.com. You can be in the Discord. Another benefit of it, too, if you're listening to this show and you're like, oh, man, there's an ad in this show. If you're a member of the flock at getintheflock.com, you get an RSS feed that's just for you. You put it into your podcast listening app of choice, and then you get ad-free episodes, which, why would you want ads in your show anyway? Other than it does help support us. But if you're supporting us, we're going to say, hey, guess what? We're going to help you out too. You don't have to listen to ads.
No, you just don't have to. So that's awesome. Getting the flock. And of course, these next segment from the flock, it comes directly from our Discord. And we're going to start off with Design Pete's Beach House, which is Amy, who's with us in chat. Thank you, Amy. She says, in first drive touchdown 2 weeks in a row. Love seeing that. Right hand Dan in all three sides of the ball showing up in the first quarter. That's something. That's amazing. And Car, not sure if I saw her yet today, but she's always hanging out with us. She's awesome. In Horton, really reminding me of rookie Tyler Lockett with that return game. Car loves it's a favorite player of all time. So for Car to be saying that about Horton, she's feeling it, Brandon.
I will say that one thing that would put me into earlier on, you had the ABC grades up for Sam Darnold.
Yes.
If there's one thing that would put me into the A category for this, it would be the fact that we do have now 2 out of our first 3 games opening drive touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something I would have expected, especially after last year. And to have that now through these 3 games, that could put me into that A category for sure.
I like that. You could be clutch in the first quarter. It's true.
All right. Going now to our other flockers in the Discord. B-Wags Biceps, giving the end to Chaz Surratt. Clinton, if we're going nooks and crannies, I mean, how does Chaz Surratt, this also could have easily been my brand in, because we saw Chaz Surratt steal the soul of the punter early on, being the final guy who sprung the block for Torrey Horton's touchdown on the punt return, the Seahawks' longest punt return touchdown in history. And it was Chaz Surratt blowing up the punter, stealing his soul, and Maurice recognizing that as well. Seahawks legend Chaz Surratt blocking the punter on our first punt return touchdown.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't give him usually you take a soul, you get a cranny. That's it. That's the way it goes. And then he's the punter, and then Chaz goes ahead and totally beefs the block punt and doesn't hop on top of it and take that back, and it's kind of muffs that. So look, in true 3 and 3 out fashion, the sober yin raging yang, Chaz did it to himself. Do a little better next week, bud.
B-Wags Biceps with the out. Time to start looking for a new special teams coach. I hear Harbaugh is getting recruited for president of the free world. Northwest Gambit in to Jay Harbaugh. So an out and an in for Jay Harbaugh, essentially. 3 games in, and it's apparent he learned from last year's mistakes. Special teams is so good this year.
Yeah, love seeing that. All right, we also got Fire Hats for All saying in Clinton getting a tasty steak and a beer from Adam. D'Anthony Bell ringing that bell. We didn't even talk about D'Anthony Bell, who played really, really good. And yes, Adam owes me a steak. I'm very excited about that. And a beer. Northwest Gambit, NW Gambit saying in oots. Fullback leading the way for a touchdown. Love to see that power run game. I'll take the next 2 here. Lloydzilla, all the way from the UK, saying in Surratt's block celebration. The block was good. Celebrating it, even catfishing better. We like that. Dane X says out, not getting 6 ins. And of course, the only way to get 6 ins, Brandon, is if
we get the shutout, and we did not.
That's correct. It's got to be
2 field goals.
It's not a rule, but that's one that I am not willing to break. It is very special to get a shutout in the NFL. The day we do, cool, we'll have 6 ins. Till then, the out's got to be there.
Is it a rule? Is it
not a rule. There's only one rule.
Okay, yeah. So it's more of a policy.
It's a policy. It's a strong policy.
Glad we cleared that up. All right.
Yeah.
We've got 12th man records out. Everyone who watched the preseason games, I did not. That made me concerned about our special teams. Yep. Bunny with the out. We only scored 21 points in the first quarter. I expect 35 points per quarter minimum. Josh DeHuman in. Horton setting the Seahawks record for longest punt return TD with 95 yards. I want to go back to what Lloyd Zilla said, because I did recognize that too with Chaz Surratt. Like, as he blew up the punter, he put his arms up in the air, like calling his shot, like the guy who a basketball player who shoots and then starts celebrating before the ball's even in the hoop. Like, essentially Chaz was like, okay, I made that block. This is a touchdown now.
That, yes. And again, love it, Chaz. Good job. It's the punter, but still, you did good. You did good. I won't take away taking a soul. We got Frost with the in, and Frost, of course, is Ryan 911, our executive live producer. He says, I guess you can win the game in the first quarter. Don't know, but yes, you can, coach. We got Marlon. He says, stress-free game. Marlon, you're here with us today as well, along with Frost. Thank you, dude. And Bunny in home field advantage, in not needing my cardiologist. All good. And then again, Northwest Gambit. This is a cool one. We didn't talk about him much, and there wasn't a lot of too much buzz, even though the guy played really good. In John Schneider claiming Darion Kendrick off waivers from the Rams, also signing Josh Jobe last year when the Eagles waived him. It's a great point, Brandon, because those two dudes certainly stood out. Jobe for over a year now, Kendrick for a couple of games, just looking like a legit baller.
Jobe had some really nice pass breakups down the field. He had some really nice tackles in the run too, where he was really physical. Like, Josh Jobe's ability to be physical for his size is really impressive. And then Kendrick also, like, a very physical corner, and his ability to be around the ball has been kind of unmatched through these first couple games. It's going to be a really tough decision for Mike McDonald to figure out which of these defensive backs, once Witherspoon's back out and healthy, once Emanwari is back out and healthy, like, how are they going to get are we going to play with 7 defensive backs? We just may, especially with the front 4 we got. We could actually be kind of cool. All right. Josh DeHuman saying, my birthday wish came true in epic fashion. JSN Jiggy with it. That's Lisa saying, 12's turned up, out. Release the Minotaur, you cowards. And Northwest Gambit, out. Both hands on the ball. Halani, score doesn't matter. Always protect the ball. And then in for the Rams losing. That was a bummer for Halani. It was nice to see him get a couple carries after that too, so he didn't have to end the game on the bench on a sour note. He got a couple more carries. And I'm kind of with Lisa too. We've got to get Derek Hall some stats to help recognize his dominance in the play. It doesn't help when the tackles are just holding him and then falling on him and getting penalties that keeps him from getting a sack. Like, when they get beat, it's just kind of one of those things to where they know, and Hall is unfortunately then not getting the stats to come out of it, other than getting those penalty yards that then back him up and then give the rest of the defensive line more opportunities to rush the passer.
It's coming. He's gonna get there, because the pressures are there for sure. And hey, with the Rams losing that game, it's always fun to celebrate that one more time, because that was an epic collapse. Love seeing that. All right, we got Yokai Hawk saying, holding Kamara to 2.3 yards per carry on 18 attempts. I know we were just asked about Kamara's stats by Sean, so if you could do the math there, that's something around like 40 yards or something like that, right?
He had 18 carries, 42 yards, and then that was the other factor that I was not expecting to see. Now, he did have one play where he was targeted down the field. It was Kobe who was on track to lay the wood to him, like if he were to get his hands on the ball on that one long throw downfield. But the fact that he only finished the day with 1 catch and 14 yards is really surprising to me. Maybe all those throws and catches that would have gone to Kamara went to Chris Olave instead, but the fact that the thing that you guys mentioned in What If this week, and if folks aren't listening to Seahawkers What If, you're missing out. You guys did this bracket challenge of things that you don't want to see, or you wanted to see predictors of how the game would work out. And one of them that Phil came up with, I think, was Kamara under 70 yards. And I think it might have only been rushing yards that he was talking about. They held Alvin Kamara under 70 yards combined rushing and receiving. And that's a big part of the reason why the Saints were only able to score 6 points in this game.
Yeah, completely bottled up, took him completely out of the game. It was lovely to see. We got Hawk Van Dyke, who's always stirring the pot in the Discord, is out in a 31-point victory that was over 7 minutes into the second. That was over 7 minutes into the second quarter. We only rushed for 87 yards and 2.6 per carry. Zabel was terrible. No matter what the Discord peanut gallery will try to have you believe. Well, Dave, we put together the video evidence to showcase that. And again, I came back at you on Discord and said, look, I don't think that's correct. And we'll talk about it tonight. And that segment was about that. I know your points on Zabel. I just think you're wrong, man. I think you're wrong. I definitely don't think he's by any means playing terrible football. In fact, I think he's playing pretty good football, and 3 games in for a rookie, he's made a pretty darn good difference. All right, Brandon, you got the next one with Stu.
All right. Before I get to Stu, I'm going to recognize El Trowel coming in saying I'm going to listen to the podcast when it drops, but wanted to jump in here to give you guys some YouTube support. Go Hawks. Appreciate it. El Trowel dropping in and maybe giving a like while we're live. That helps us as well. And then after the show drops, go ahead and leave a comment in the comments. We appreciate it.
Sure do.
We've got Stu coming in. Stu. That's a fun name to say.
It is a fun name.
Torrey Horton was a huge steal. Nice 5th round pick. Thanks to Northwest Gambit with the big man Mike Morris bullying the Saints O-line all day. Josh DeHuman and Sam threw for over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Nice stat line for Sam. And Rising Hawkra, the Seahawks cheerleaders.
I just want to give a little love, so I thought it was nice because
they don't get enough. They've never gotten an in on this show, so
not here. They deserve the MVC. We got to print another MVC for the cheerleaders. All right, we got Lloydzilla in strength, in depth, in the secondary. No Spoon, Love, or even Wari, and we still look good back there. Love that point. We talked about it quite a bit last night, that this team looks to run deep. Delwyn saying out. The defense only having a single interception, despite Rattler's best efforts to give them several more. No lies detected there, Brandon. That's true.
They had opportunities for more than one. I was also disappointed about the non-50 burger, the Helani fumble. I guess if I were to give an out to anybody on the team, it would probably be Helani for the fumble, because that was the drive. That was the drive to get to the 50-point marker, and it was a turnover that ended up costing the team that 50 burger.
Sad.
Very
Yes.
NY Seahawk, not sad about him being in the Discord. Even without all the yards or success, Kubiak's commitment to the run still set up all the play action success. Not wrong there, NY Seahawk. Derek Hall, he may not have the sacks yet, but 2 weeks in a row, he's had his side of the line completely dominated. The sacks will come. Out the run game struggled. I'd be curious to see if the Saints are just a good run defending team. They do have Demario Davis, and Demario Davis did show up on several of those plays coming in from the second level and able to fill the gap and help against that good rushing team. That's 3 weeks in a row that we've gone up against really good middle linebackers.
True fact. Let's get to a point where we get a weak.
You know who doesn't have a good middle linebacker?
The Cardinals.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Northwest Gambit within Seahawks defense dominating at run defense. We talked about that a lot, and he's right. Currently, the only defense over the first 3 weeks to not give up a rushing touchdown. Thought that was kind of cool. And we got Living the Good Life into the Seahawks defense, bottling up Kamara. Yes. In Torrey Horton, enough said. Yes. Into Seahawks Chris for meeting up after the game and taking them down to the field for pictures. Ooh. It was fantastic after a big W. Living the good life. My only request is post those pictures on the Discord, man, if you haven't. I want to see those, Brandon.
Yeah, just like I was posting pictures in the Discord of Banana the Corgi, who Flocktimus Prime is calling out for the in. Banana the Corgi, new champion. If you missed the halftime show, which if you were watching on the television, you probably didn't even know there was a Corgi race during the halftime. And it was delightful. And yes, Banana the Corgi was the champion, beating out Bobby Brown, unfortunately, who I think I like the name the best of all the Corgis. And but there was okay. let's talk corgi races for a second.
Yeah, let's go.
One really cool strategy from Banana the corgi and Banana's handler. She had this large stuffed banana, and so as the handlers would go from their pup on one side and then line up into the end zone, she had a large stuffed banana that she would swing around. And I believe that was able then to give the dog the attention of, okay, I know exactly where I need to run and do it in record time by following this giant banana stuffy. And so credit to the handler of Banana for a great racing strategy.
Really smart. I did not know any of that. And I feel just so much better as a human that I do know that. I just can't believe that Bobby Brown did not find it his prerogative to take that race. No. So, all right.
I think it was her prerogative. It was BOBBI.
Oh, well, okay, there. Okay. See, that's me just assuming Bobby Brown's, of course, is named after. Because I guess there was also Bobby Millie Brown, right? Who was the actress from Stranger Things. That is her name as well, right?
Oh, interesting.
I think so. So I might be wrong. I often am. I know who's not. Amy Holmes saying, and after the live, come back in and hype the show. So on YouTube now, especially on mobile, you see it really easy, maybe on tablet too. There's literally you could give hype and give kind of points back to the show. And apparently that helps goose the algorithm. So anything to goose the algorithm, we'll take it. So if anybody has experience hyping shows, let us know if I described it right. But thank you, Amy, for saying that. I think we got through these. Yes, we did. And we got the last one. Brandon, might as well take it away, dude.
All right, let's close it out with Hawk Van Dyke with the in. And like in Hawk Van Dyke fashion, making the ins and outs segment all about him and his score predictions before the season. He is still 100% accurate in his May predictions of where the Seahawks would be. And he had our Seahawks at 2-1. And with it being the first road game for the Saints, that's why he had the Seahawks getting the win.
Yes, so good job by Hawk Van Dyke. Maybe he stirs the pot a bit, and with that, he's a great member of our flock as well, and he's going to have his opinions, and that's a-okay. But he is 3 for 3. He is
3 for 3. And one other thing to point out as part of this, he says A, still 100% accurate. B, yep. The next 3 games are in green.
Yep. So he's got a dub, and a dub lined up. So like may he continue his streak, Brandon. May our Seahawks continue to play pretty darn sound football. And look, this week turns over super quick. Tomorrow morning, we are live with Mr. Phil. There is no time to waste. We're doing a live what if. Adam will be with us, and we are right into kind of preview mode. And I know you've got a flagship coming up as well. And then just in like 2.5 days at this point, we have a Seahawks game to watch as we get down to the desert, bud.
Can't wait. A nice short week. We don't have to wait long to watch more Seahawks football this week, Clinton.
Yes, and I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.